today is Saturday, the 26th day of March 2016, one day after the Good Friday holiday yesterday, the 25th. I am back here with you at the airport site, Argyle International Airport, and currently I am down below the bank side on the southern end of the runway, where we have the fencing in the step down area. Last week when we were here, I show you where they have started to do some work for the running of the conduits for the lighting system that down here at the south, where they're going to put the approach lights. Now the conduits have been run here, as you can see. Underground here, concrete layer, a layer of concrete has been placed over them to protect the conduit. We have seen also in front of us here the boxing, the concrete platform has been done. We had last week, we had just the frames for this sort of work, and you see that it has been done also here. And this is the first one. There is one more further down, and I'm going down to that area to see exactly what was done down there. So here we are at the second concrete frame. We just passed the first set up there, and we see this white PVC conduit is extending down further down, which tells me that something else, or they're going to continue with the running of the PVC pipe down further down to the end. So I will go down there a while and see exactly what has taken place down there. So here we are, we're seeing the new development that has taken place down on this side. This is where they're going to put the approach lights. And if you recall, in my last video from last week, I show you where they had some steel stakes painted in green lining across this area, and I told you it looks to me as if here is where they're going to put the lights, where they had the stakes. Well, this week now I've come back here, you are seeing what has taken place here over that past week. So by next week when I come back here, we should see some sort of development here. We have steel matting already here, and if you look closely on the ground right in front of us, right here where that stone is, you're gonna see one of the same steel painted in green just next to the stone there. So this is just to show you where those steels was the guide to where they're gonna dig out this trench to put up the lights. I don't know how this work is going to be done, but as I come here week after week, I'm going to see the development regarding the work down here on this end where they're going to put the approach lights. So we are having the landscaping work done here. As you're seeing here, areas now being filled with dirt and being leveled off, compacted. As you can see, the various equipment here, the trucks dumping the dirt, the grader grading off, the compacting machine compacting. This is the preparation, final preparation work being done here on the green area of the airport site, on the side towards the west of the runway, close to the Makoniami Hill. Now the hill is still coming down, and a lot of it has come down over the past week, and a lot of vehicles are here today. Unlike last week, we didn't have much down here, but we have a lot of vehicles down here today. And as I get closer, you're gonna see exactly what is going on here with this hill, and not much of it left to come down. So the work is going on quite nicely here at the Makoniami Hill. So we are closer here now, and we are seeing the activity taking place here at the Makoniami Hill. Various different trucks, some are loaded with the boulders and taking them to the stone crushing plant. Others are being loaded with the dirt and stone mixed together, taking them on top of the area where we have the foothill and dumping them at the back end of that area on the foothill, from where they would have taken a lot of stones to be crushed. And this hill is coming down nicely. The big rock that we had just on the northern side here has been taken down, and a number of fragments of that big rock, we see them there on the ground, and the caterpillars are on top of the flat area up there, plowing into the rocky area and softening it up, pushing them over to the end, while we have the front end loaders loading the trucks with the loose soil. And this is what we have taking place here at the Mokonyami Hill, as they take down this hill to make room for the fencing work and the running of the fuel pipes for the fuel farm that will be heading down to the Stubbs Bay end. From this angle you have an idea as to how much of this hill has been taken down and how much is left to be taken down. Currently, as you know, as you can see, they are removing all those loose soil that were taken down. All the loose stones came down from this area, are being loaded in the trucks and are taken to other areas here on the side. So gradually the hill is coming down, and hopefully by sometime in the middle of the new month or thereabout, we can see this hill all coming down, so that the fencing work and the fuel pipes can continue to make their way down to along that area where the Mokonyami Hill is. We are here just below where we have the control tower on the hill up there. You remember those fuel pipes that they ran across this area behind the fencing, just on my left below the control tower area? These pipes went up on this bank side, so now you're seeing that they would have put some concrete works there to secure or protect these pipes as they go up the hill up there. So just showing you the development with the pipes in this area, the pipes that are going to lead to the fuel farm, so that you will have an idea as to what is taking place here. Now I'm here at the shoulder area of the taxiway, the shoulder area that is going the Alpha taxiway and going around the corner up there at the side of the Bravo taxiway. Now here is on the southern end, and just behind me we have the bank where we have the control tower. And what you're seeing here now is what they would have done over the past week. Saturday when I visited here, we just had the stones just like this, the loose stones here. But today now I come back, we see that they would have sprayed the asphalt oil on this area. So when they start doing the second layer of asphalt work here on the Alpha taxiway itself, and this area where you're seeing the oil spray, this is the shoulder area. So when they start to lay down the second layer of asphalt work here, this side on the shoulder will only be having one layer, and so they will just do all of it one after the next. So this is just to show you what has taken place on this side. Now I'm going across on the left to see what would have happened over there. So here we are now on the left, and this area just in front of us, this is the area towards the apron leading towards the cargo terminal building. Now this is the first layer of asphalt work we have here, and they would have already sprayed this area to start to lay down the second layer of asphalt, because when the cargo aircraft comes in taxi on the Bravo taxiway and then come down on the Alpha taxiway. They will be coming all the way as they're coming towards the bank where we have the control tower and turning onto this area and head over to the cargo terminal building. Now all in front of us here we still have some concrete works, and all this area no doubt should be asphalted. Need to have a first layer of asphalt. We see that the asphalt oil has been sprayed on this concrete section. All this area in front of us here should have been filled with stones, compacted, and then the asphalt placed on. I am not sure what is going to develop here, but as time progresses we're going to see. But what we're looking at here right now, we see this concrete section down here at the cargo apron area has been sprayed with the tar, the oil tar, and we know that this area no doubt will be asphalted later on. As I come up on this hillside just below the control tower, I am seeing some stakes planted here in the earth and going all the way over to the end over there, alongside the same area where we have the pipes for the fuel running on top of this bankside, overlooking the apron and the Alpha taxiway and a section of the runway. Now I'm trying to figure out why these stakes are being placed up here. Could it be that they're going to run the fencing up here? I am only guessing. But wherever we're seeing these stakes placed by the surveyors, they are indicating to us that some sort of work will be taking place in this area. But what the work is, I don't know for sure as yet. I know that when they are going to put down fencing work, they have a particular thing that they do. They put the stakes and they put some small stakes in position where they're going to drill the holes. But before that, they usually use these stakes to do the demarcation. But I am only speculating. But what I know for sure is that gradually, as I come here week after week, I will see for myself exactly why these stakes are being placed here and what sort of work they are going to do. Because lower down I also see stakes down there, so that is why I'm kind of guessing, because just below at the edge of the bank down there we have also stakes going straight across the bank side there. So until such time when the work starts here, then we'll be able to better understand why these stakes were placed on top of this bank in the position where they are placed. Now the stakes have gotten up to this point, just overlooking the bank here where we have the cargo apron area. It could very well be that these stakes are marking out the area where they're going to do some excavation work here on the bank side to terrace it, to bring it to look like just over on the far end over there, just below the control tower. You know, in that area over there where they would have done the sloping of the bank, where you could walk from the bottom and go up to the top over there, just where that truck is passing there. Well, probably all these stakes are just to mark the spot where they have to take down this bank to make it look like that. But I am not quite sure. But from what I am seeing, I want to believe that this is the reason for all these stakes, the stakes. But then again, the stakes are coming from all the way over there. That has already been done, so I don't know yet for sure if that is the reason. No work is actually taking place right now here on the taxi hut. And last week when we were here, the guys were putting up the rafters. I am not seeing any activity. It does not mean that they are not working. But you are seeing now where they would have done the casting of the ring beam. Remember last week I told you that they're going to cast the ring beam, the rafters into the ring beam to secure the roof. Well, now you're seeing it right there. It's happening. As I look at this, the roof of this structure, Thursday while going into Kingston, I happened to look at the taxi hut at the E.T. Joshua Airport, and I couldn't help but noticing that the way the roof has been done at the E.T. Joshua Airport taxi hut, this roof here at Argyle International Airport is basically the same design as the one that we have at the E.T. Joshua Airport. So I guess they're just patterning now the design of the roof to make it look similar to the one at the E.T. Joshua. So I just want to bring this one to you so that those of you, after you look at this video and you happen to pass by E.T. Joshua, or one of these days when I pass there, I'm going to get a shot of the roof itself, the building itself, to show you how the roof looks, to see if I am correct when I tell you it looks just like this one, or this one looks just like the roof that we have at the E.T. Joshua Airport. Also something of note, and it looks as though these are LED lights, probably they're gonna have in these, but if you're looking now, you're seeing the light, the poles now have the lamps connected or installed with them. And these light poles, if you happen to go across by the cruise ship terminal, you would see that they have similar light poles like these, and at the top of it the lighting are fitted similar to this one here at the E.T. Joshua. I don't know yet if they would have done any work up there on the roadway itself regarding the lights, but I think I might have to make a spin up there later on before I leave the site to see exactly what work would have been done up there on the lights pole, the light poles on the main road, access road to the terminal building. Last week when we visited this area, the south of the terminal building where they have the drain, we noticed that they just had the blocks work laid down, and I told you that the drain that they're building coming out from the cargo terminal building over here coming towards the north will be connecting to this drain here and taking the water out towards the north to the 191 channel. Now you see they would have done the concrete crowning here on this drain itself, and they have already put on now the metal covering, just like we have going all the way down up to this point here. Now we see the steels extending out on the side, which tells us that they're going to do some concrete works here, and this concrete works is going to fill up this space, this area what we have right here right now, and taking it out to the end, and probably it might come right out to the end where we have this one already, but we still have steels on the side of this piece of concrete that I'm standing on here. So I am not sure how far down the concrete works will be going, but this is just to give you an idea of the progress of the work done here in this area over the past week. We didn't have the covering here last week, we just had the blocks up to this point. Now we're seeing the covering. This section of the Alpha taxiway, just in line with the Charlie taxiway. Charlie taxiway is just behind me, and you are seeing now that it has been sprayed with the asphalt spray. The first layer has actually been laid, and now they have sprayed this area with the asphalt oil spray, and this is what is going to happen next. They're going to continue with the second layer of asphalt on this, the Alpha taxiway. Now on my right further up, there has not been any spray. It is looking normal as before, as you can see, but just this area down here going towards the south has been sprayed with the asphalt oil, and no doubt they're going to start to do this area. You see, all on the side, on the shoulder area where we have that stone last week, they were compacting it, and there's still some more stone to be placed in some areas here right in front of us there. But when they start to do this asphalting work here on this section of the Alpha taxiway, they will probably do the shoulder area out here as well, because on the shoulder end of the taxiway they only putting down one layer of asphalt, whereas on the taxiway itself, the three taxiways, and this one that I'm standing on is the Alpha taxiway, and this one runs from the north to the south, from the area of the 191 channel right down to the edge where we have the apron of the cargo terminal building. And just on my left is the Charlie taxiway, and further down below is the Bravo taxiway. The Bravo taxiway is that taxiway which the aircrafts that landed here at Argyle over the last year, that is the taxiway that they would have used to get onto the apron area. So here we are at that roadway, or the driveway, what you want to call it, coming from the fire station towards the shoulder area of the runway. Normally, whenever an aircraft is landing, what usually happens is that the fire tender comes on standby in the event that something should happen, that the fire tender service is required. And what is going to happen, the fire tender will then come out to this point where they are here and stick up there for a while, the men on the truck. In the event that something happens, they are ready on standby. So they are connecting this area of the concrete works back to the shoulder area here of the runway. Now we have the shoulder with two sections. Now here you're seeing exactly what is taking place here. They would have done a section earlier up, and over the past week since I last visited, this work has been done. This was not done on Saturday. No indication of this sort of work here on Saturday when I was here, and now today we see what has been done over the past week. And it looks as though they would have just done a piece of concrete work here this morning, there where you have that fresh concrete work. One worker is here trying to do the finishing touches, and this is what we have here at this end of the driveway for the fire tender. I am here at the fire station. I am not too sure if you should call here the front or the back, but this is the side towards the east, the seaside area, where they would have done some fencing, planting of the poles last week. The guys are here working. They would have done some concrete works, and it looks from where I'm at here, they have done some guttering works around the area where we're going to have the driveway, and also it looks as though there has been some asphalting work here. Now I'm here just outside of the fire station, where they are now doing some drainage work at the front end of the station, and starting all the way from out there a little bit where we have those stones piled up, where there is a stake. The drain will be coming from all the way out there and going along this pathway into the river, the 191 tunnel. Now I was just speaking with the supervisor here, the foreman for this project, And the same belief that I've had, I just asked him a few questions and he told me that the fencing for this fencing will be coming across here, and the fencing on the other end over there will be going across to where they have the stake. So this area between here will be part of the compound for the fire station. So I guess nobody will be able to come beyond this point, but I'll still have to watch and see how things develop, right? And as time progresses, we're going to get a better idea. It is approaching 12 o'clock, and you know around this time all the workers head towards that meeting point where they go and have their lunch. All this area here, just in the area where we have the concrete batching plant, we see we have fencing work already done here, going all the way out towards the 191 tunnel. This area is where the 191 tunnel starts. This concrete works, this is a catchment area. The 191 actually ends somewhere in this point, but we have this catchment area which takes in the water from that are coming down off from the top up there in that gutter area, and the water that will be coming through here, this gutter from all the way back over at the control tower area. Now this tunnel has gone all the way back up in the bushes up there. But last week when we were here, when I passed earlier in the morning, they were just putting down the dirt here, and I told you they have to level off this area. Now this area has been leveled off, and now I can walk with ease on this spot that we now have here, as you can see. Well, here we are at the fencing area north of the commercial apron. And last week when we visited here, this section where I'm at right now, the guys were just doing the concrete. We're not actually down here. Down here was not finished, but up to a certain point they had done the concrete, with this section down here left to be done. Now I am back here 1 week later. We have a lot of the meshes up in place. Some of them, just these two, are not up, and maybe the reason for this is because this area is a smaller section than what we have in these other two, so they probably have to cut them to fit. But all the way back up, as far as my eyes can see, I am seeing the meshes up and the fork in at the top. But what is left to be done here is the barbed wire and the razor wire in position. Now this area, as you know, will be asphalted later on, and most likely a slip drain will go on the side there, and the water that flows off of this road will flow into the channel, the 191 channel that we have on the outer side of this fencing. Last week when I was in this area, I told you that it looks as though they're going to put a drain going towards the 220 area, based on the fact that I would have seen some wooden stakes placed on the ground here and running in line with the drain that they would have already built. Now this week, as you can see, we actually have some work done here, and I am not yet sure what is going to happen, I am seeing this area here where they would have done some earthworks, they dug trench and they install the matting and so forth, and now they're running a drain to go towards the 220. But the way they have done this, I'm still wondering what is really going on. It could very well be that they're coming out to the end here, and then on the outside we have the fencing, because I can see down there at the end, just in front of us here, where we have the steel stakes on the outer side. This could very well be the route where the fencing going to pass, and on the inner side, from the second steel stake back to the wood, and then further in we're going to have the concrete or the drainage system. Where the wood is, the wood probably form the center of the drain, and where this piece of steel is, and some another piece on the other side that is not there, could very well be the width of the drain coming down. But I am only saying this based on my observation and based on what I have been seeing as I come here each week to bring you an update of the work taking place here at the site. But as I speak with you, it is still lunchtime, and the guys no doubt are on their lunch break. It is about 5 minutes to 1, and I'm heading towards the north to see what sort of work was done there since I visited last week. It was at this point that started this drain that is running towards the north behind me. So from here, go back to the south is what they would have done over the past week gone since my last visit. Because if you recall, we just had the stakes being placed along this area when I told you that they're going to put a drain in this area. Now you're seeing the work done here, and I am not yet sure which direction this drain is going to run. It will continue to run towards the north, or if it's going to run towards the south. But when it rains, we're going to see the direction where the water goes. Now from this point here where I stood there a while ago, all the way back out, as far as my eyes can see, I am seeing fencing up. But when I get across there, I will give you a better idea how far out they would have gotten. Well, here is the point to which they have gotten with the fencing, and they are continuing up further north. And as they complete the work on the drainage system here, we see that they have filled up back the space on the inner side of the drain. The outer side is left to be filled back up with dirt. So when it rains, the water that runs on this area will run into this drain here, and head all the way down to the north into the gully down to the sea. So we are here at the north where the road is going to pass over this area that you're looking at right in front of you there. So you're seeing the development that has taken place here over the last week. Last week when we passed here, the guys were putting down the blocks in this area to link to this drainage system we have below here. Now you see they have put up a side wall, and we are going around there to show you exactly what has happened. But as I told you before, it is lunchtime, and the guys are on their lunch break right now. They should be back at work all now, so because it is now 10 minutes past 1. But that is not for me to decide. Now, at one point I thought that the fencing was going to come all the way out here alongside the drainage, as you have seen them do it out on the eastern side. But now I got up here, I see a difference with the fencing, and I am going to show you exactly what is going on with the fencing for the outer side. Now this is the drain that they were working on last week. Remember when I came here, the guys were putting down the boxing for the outside, and before I left, the concrete truck was here pouring the concrete in the boxing on the side, on the inner side of this drainage wall. On the outside we still had the raw blocks. Nothing was boxed up as yet. The guys were out at the far eastern end doing the boxing for the fencing. And I told you earlier, from what I noticed, that they were cutting out the blocks to put in the poles for the fence, and I thought they were doing it all the way out here. At one point I couldn't figure out how they're going to do it when they get to this end out here regarding the fencing, because you must have to cross over somewhere to go back down on the eastern side. But this is what has taken place here. The fencing pole, they have brought them further out to the north side, closer to the road, rather than coming alongside in line with the drain. They would have done that up to a certain point, and I'm wondering if it's an error or if it was deliberate, because I'm seeing some of the poles as if they were heading down towards the fencing, but now I have seen the poles taking a different turn, and now they are coming further closer to the road and heading up in this direction. So most likely, I don't know how they're going to work it out when it gets across where they have that bridge, but as time progresses we're going to see exactly how it is done. Last week when I was here, we had some coconut trees right on the side there. I even took the time to take a breather and relax a bit until it was 1 o'clock. But this week I come back here, the coconut trees are gone. And if you can recall, I show you something about this drain here, and I told you that where they had the concrete base, they were going to put these precast culvert in that position to extend this drain. Well, now you have seen it happen, and here we are at the drain where they would have put in the culverts and would have covered it with soil above, and making this area much wider here at the northern end of the site, in the area where we are going to have that access road coming in from the Argyle Primary School from off the main road. And it is through this area here you're looking at. The water will be flowing, coming through that underground culvert and ending up in this gully right here, and it will be taking the water right down to the sea area. Now I am not sure how often water runs in this area only if when it rains, but this is what it is here. And I don't know if they're going to build a concrete drain here so that the water can channel properly, or if they're just going to leave it like this. Most likely if you're doing something, you gotta do it good and done. So I want to assume that they're going to do this drain properly, and we're going to have a nice drain heading all the way down to the sea area, and we are not going to have too much muck in this area. But when that time comes, we are going to see what develops. You remember we talked about this drain earlier. This drain is coming down from the main road, and I'm still in the area where we have the Argyle Primary School, just on the opposite side of the road. And also here we have an underground drain. This underground drain is made from that plastic PVC piping, like what you see they have on the site down at Argyle, under the road, bringing the water from the other side to this area. And this water once used to flow into down in this area before we have the airport being built. But what is going to happen now, they are going to put back this drain, they are going to link it back up to the one that we have behind us, because the water, when it rains, will continue to flow down here and come down onto the side. So we must have a passageway for the water, and the water is going to come off somewhere behind me, and no doubt it will flow in this area where I'm standing, going to look over to the bank. So not too long from now, you can very well find them cutting out a trench here and making a tunnel way, or the gutter way, for the water that will be flowing out from behind me down into this area. And you may very well find that they're going to fill up all here with stone and other objects, and fill up here so that we could have the roadway continue. I am not quite sure how they're going to bring the fencing over, because they're coming down from the south, coming up on the side with there, and now they're coming up on this area. How they're going to do it across, I don't know, but we're going to see when they reach to that stage. But this is what we have happening here right now at the north end of the airport site, where they're doing the drainage work and the fencing work simultaneously. Now it's 1 o'clock and the guys are back to work here. These are the fencing guys. They are now doing the box work for the poles in the fencing. What they're doing now, they're putting up the siding for the base concrete, and later on they're going to put the poles into the holes, and they're going to plumb them, have them set in place, and then afterwards we're going to have the concrete to secure these poles in the holes as we move northward or westward on the north side, going towards the west with the fencing road. And on this area where I'm standing right now is where the permanent access road to Warwick and Mount Pleasant area, and also to get to the IADC office, it will be in this area that road will be passed. It is all in this area here on the eastern side. Going back to the south, you're going to have the access road that is coming in from the area of the Argyle Primary School and going back down to where we had that old Argyle bridge and linking back up, taking you back down to Warwick. Now very soon we should have some works being done here on this roadway. The guys are putting down the base for the fencing. Unfortunately, they have to reroute the fencing. The way they were going along the edge of the drainage system at one point, and they had to shift and move further out closer to the road where the drain passes on the north, as you would have seen them doing. So all here on the side to the sea, we have massive boulders being dumped. I am not sure if they're going to be pushed over or they're going to be left like that, but we are seeing that they are filling up this area with dirt and stones and other stuff to bring it to the level, to the wall, close to the wall, where we had that space between the wall and the outer side of the road. Now all this area is now being filled, and not too long from now we are going to start seeing some base stones being placed on this area here, and the asphalt work start. Already you're seeing the width of the road, how wide it's going to be, and no doubt we are going to start to see some work taking place here over the next month coming. All this area here where we have the carib hut, we see some earth, some grading off of this area has been done. I don't know if they're going to take down that bank side up there, if they're going to level off here. I don't know what they're going to do, or they're trying to get soil from other areas over here to put in other areas. But you can see that some sort of work was done here over the past week, and from where I'm at, I can see activity taking place just on the banks, just below the bank down there where we have those coconut trees, and I'm going further down to see exactly what is happening. Well, here we have nice topsoil, you know, that can be used to put in those areas around the airport where they're going to plant the grass. So apparently this is what is taking place here right now, just south of where we have the tax hut, and over there on the bank north of where we have the 191, we have a caterpillar leveling off that area. This is the point to where they would have gotten to last week Saturday when they did the asphalt paving here on this section of the runway, and this being the first layer coming from where they have started on the north coming down, and they would have completed the asphalt work up to this point last Saturday afternoon, around 4 or thereabout. Now when they started last week, they started somewhere from this point, and you can see where they're drawing, where the two different shades of black here. Now they would have done this area sometime between Sunday last week and yesterday. I'm not too sure which days, but I more believe they started on Sunday to complete this area. So the whole width of the runway up on this area where they would have started last week, that would have been completed now, as you are seeing. The whole width last week when I left there, all we had was the spraying of the stone itself that you saw when the truck was spraying the stones. Now this week the asphalt lane has been done, but this is still the first layer. There is left to be done a second layer of asphalt road on the runway, and also on the shoulder area just below us down there, that area has to be filled with stone also. And when they are putting on the second layer of asphalt, they do one thing straight across, because the shoulder itself will only be carrying one layer of asphalt. And last week the second layer of stone got up to this point, but over the past week you see that they have already laid down the second layer going further south. So not too long from now you're going to have this area being sprayed also and asphalted. Next is to be done on the right, my right here. We're going to also have them laying down the second layer of stones here to continue moving southward with the asphalting work here on this, the 3rd kilometer of the runway. And as I walk with you, I am walking now over the area where we have those tunnels. Remember the corrugated tunnels that we have the water, the river has been channeled through. Now I am now walking over them, as you can see up there in the western side, where we have the starting of the river. So all this area here where I'm now walking on, going towards the south, this is where we have the tunnel passing underneath us and the runway passing over the tunnel. We have the second layer of stone, and it's going towards the south. They're working very hard on this section, and we have the other half to be done later on. And then the next stage will be the spraying of the asphalt oil, and then the first layer of asphalt, and then the second layer. We are now at the end to where they would have gotten to with the second layer of base stone here on the eastern side. And if I were to look straight across from the end point, I am looking little north of the petroglyph hill, and this is the point to where they would have gotten to with the stone here on this section, the eastern section of the runway. They still have more to go further down, but they're getting there, and very soon we'll see all this area, this long stretch of runway linked together, forming the one runway. And not too long from now we'll be having aircrafts touching down here at the Argyle airport site, and I won't be able to be walking in this area that I'm walking on right now in a couple months from now, or by next year this time. So this won't be something that I can do, but in the meantime I'm here and I'm bringing to you the update at the airport site as things unfold, as the work get lesser and lesser. You're gonna see the development here at the Argyle airport site.